Hello, Elastic. Can you hear me? Good.
I can.
Yeah, good. Thanks. Looking glue. I using glue network.
The illiterate of the 21st century will no longer be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Alvin Toffler. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to this beautiful gathering, the 2024 Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation Talks, popularly known as RTEF Talks. This year's theme is Educating for Your Future, Not the Past. My name is Abimbola Balogun, and I will be your beautiful host for this special event. This is where we delve into the minds of people with accomplished track records in their lives and careers to inspire us around topics centered about education and to also encourage our youth as they navigate their lives through their educational endeavors. A few housekeeping rules just before we go ahead. The webinar tool we are using does not grant guests access to their microphones or camera. So only the host and speakers have such privileges. However, the admin are available to provide any kind of support that you may need. Should you have any questions for the admin or speakers, please click on the Q&A icon located at the top left-hand side of your screen to submit them. Thank you. We would also love to know where you are joining us from, so feel free to let us know, drop your name and where you are joining us from in the chat section. Again, my name is Abimbola and I am joining from Lagos, Nigeria. So let's get the introductions going in the comments. To commence, let's extend a warm welcome to our keynote speaker. Today, we have four incredible speakers who will be discussing the theme, Educating for Your Future, Not Your Past, and different speakers will be speaking on other topics centered around this theme. Our keynote speaker for today is none other than Mr. Tope Aofeko. Mr. Tolutope is an accomplished professional with over 30 years progressive experience in the insurance and financial services sector, an astute leader with global experience in strategic marketing and client relationship. He holds an executive MBA from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria. He completed his first degree in agri-economics from the same university in 1992. He is a designated chartered marketer and a licensed financial advisor in the US and Canada. An avid learner and coach, Mr. Aofeko is constantly looking to improve self and others. He is highly committed to personal and professional success. He is an advocate for vocational and skilled trades education, and personally, he went back to trade school very recently to learn plumbing and electrical works. Mr. Awofeko is very passionate about technology and an early adopter of Internet of Things. He can be described as a man of the future, as he is always a step ahead in his thinking with regards to leveraging smart home technologies for productivity and convenience. Mr. Awofeko is a strong believer in human capability to drive positive change and a big inspiration to our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I warmly welcome our keynote speaker for today. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Bimbo, for that elastic introduction. So I want to say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, forever zone you are joining for. And I'm truly honored to be here today as we begin the 2024 Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation Talk, a forum that embodies the spirit of our mother, Ruth Titilayo Taiwo, and our mission to unlock the potential within every individual through education. I would like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this event for extending this invitation to me. I consider it as a privilege to give this keynote speech among the esteemed speakers that we have here today. And I stand before you not just as a speaker, but as a fellow traveler on the ever-evolving journey of education. In the age of rapid technological advancement, we find ourselves at the intersection of tradition and innovation, challenged by redefining the very essence of education. So it is truly remarkable that Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation is providing this platform today to exploit the theme, educating for your future, not your past. I invite and encourage everyone to pay attention and learn something new. The theme is a profound concept that challenges us to reconsider the purpose and the trajectory of education in our own lives. As we delve in, let us reflect on the transformative power of education and its role in shaping not only our personal journeys, but the collective future we are building together. Let me start by sharing my fundamental belief. Education is not merely a means to acquire knowledge, it's a lifelong process of self-discovery, growth, and adaptation. The origin of the word education is from a Latin root called educere, and the Greek call it educo, which means to bring forth, that is bringing out your internal gifting outside. So the theme educating for your future, not your past, invites also break away from the traditional notion of education as a static accumulation of facts. Instead, it encourages us to embrace education as a dynamic force that propels us to forward into ever-evolving futures. Like developing countries skew their education to their developmental needs. For example, the Spartans, they trained their youth to be brave in battles, fearless, resilient. Hence, we have the Spartan courage. The Greeks are philosophically inclined, hence we have the likes of Socrates. So we should ask ourselves, how relevant are some of the things we have been taught today? For example, you are told A is for apple, and a good number of school children in Nigeria have not seen an apple before. We don't even have the weather to grow apples. It is imported. We were taught laws like Newton laws, Avogadro's law, a lot of laws in our schools. But how can we make these laws relevant to us? What is our own law? When the British told us to speak English as a superior language to our own native languages. But do you know that the Igbo, the Hausa, and the Yoruba are even older than the English language itself? So we should be educated, yes, of course, but not to have that colonial mentalities, that colonial mindsets. So that's why I love the scripture that says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Also, the famous Bob Marley song that sang, emancipated yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. So let me just leave that with that first line. So I want to invite you to see how we can make education you have received relevant to your society and use it to your God-given gift to solve current and future challenges in Nigeria. But allow me to share a bit of my own journey. Like Bimo said, I graduated from OAU Ife in 1992 after acquiring about 10 years of work experience. I went back to school for my MBA, but I did not stop learning. I have a continuous learning mindset, and this played positively for me when at age 48, I retired from my job and I migrated to North America with my family. I could recall many of my friends and colleagues, they told me I'm crazy because according to them, how can I even think of starting again at that age? But because I have embraced education as a dynamic and not a static force, I was able to adapt to my new environment. Though learning, unlearning, and relearning are not without pains, but it is the most rewarding experience for me. So if you are not learning, I'm afraid you are dying. The famous Mahatma Gandhi says, live as if you will die tomorrow. Learn as if you will live forever. And science has proven this. I grew up with books. My dad owns and operated a bookstore. He remained curious and adaptive till he died at the age of 97. During COVID, I witnessed many people losing their regular 9-to-5 jobs. And I asked myself some certain questions. What am I prepared for the future? Immune from this white collar job loss. So at the age of 53, I went back to school to learn a trade that is relevant to my property management business, a professional skill that will be in demand even when the internet is down. And that was plumbing. As long as people use water, there will be the need for plumbing. I'm still on a journey. It takes about 4 years to attain mastery of the trade, but I'm determined to continue the journey as a testament to adaptability, resilience, and transformative education. So, what does it mean to educate for your future? It involves cultivating a mindset that value adaptability, critical thinking, passion to be prepared for the world, because there is going to be a change. And the only constant and the ability to navigate this uncertain because a crucial skill is needed. So I want to share with you 3 key elements of educating for your future. Firstly, developing self for future opportunities. To develop yourself for the future, you need to have the habit of personal development. Don't wait to be pushed. Push yourself. You need to be self-aware. Where are you today? Where should you be? What is keeping you from self-development? Like I told you, during COVID, I reflected and asked myself some hard questions, and I gave myself some answers. You need to be self-aware. You need to be adaptable. Adaptability is required if you want to seize future opportunities. Because change is coming, you must be flexible and adaptable. Like Thomas Edison said, when he went to school only a few months because he was considered as a slow learner by his teacher. He was taught reading, writing, arithmetic by his mother, but always very a curious child, and he taught himself much reading on his own. He developed many devices in fields such as electric power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion pictures. He never allowed schooling to affect his education. Julius Nyerere, the former president of Tanzania, said, "You cannot develop people. People have to develop themselves." So it is not the strongest nor the most intelligent of species that will survive, but the one most adaptable to change. So the second key of educating for your future is leveraging academic success for a sustainable career. You need to understand that your degree and academic achievement is just a part of the world picture. They will give you a foot in the door, but what keeps you in the room is the way you transform the knowledge you acquired to drive values. Value will continue to be relevant in the future. So you need to understand how to build a sustainable and fulfilling career beyond just having a degree on the paper. You can do it, I know it. You can unlearn looking down on yourself. You can learn to place value on your reality and your knowledge. You need practical skill. You need networking, social skill, soft skill. You must be curious. Stay relevant in rapidly changing job markets. Join associations, read books, attend forums like RTEF Talks. And the last key I want to share with you is harnessing creativity for positive change. In the world today, creativity is valued and rewarded. You think outside the box. In fact, remove the box. Be creative and drive positive change in the society. From the field of medicine, engineering to art and entertainment, creativity is required to stay relevant. I want to encourage the young people here to unleash their creativity self and use it as a driver for innovation and progress to the country, our dear country, Nigeria, and in our society at large. And the key to innovation is your mind. Innovation is doing things better than it was done before. For example, there's a company called Review Entertainment in Finland. They are the developer of the games called Angry Birds. Their revenue alone is more than what Nigeria makes on crude oil. I also know there's a young guy trending recently on social media called Yakubu Samuel from Suleja that invented salt water lamp with no battery that could last for 70 days and could be rechargeable with salt and water. Another example is a 26 years old Nigerian called Emeka Nelson who built a generator that operates mainly on water. Nelson invented the water power generator despite lacking formal education or engineering certification. But I know there will be challenges. because there is no journey without one. But however, these challenges present opportunities for us to be adaptable and to express our growth within us. So as we educate for the future, we must acknowledge the hurdles and the setbacks. It is overcoming these hurdles and challenges that we develop resilience, a quality that is critical as any academic achievement. So in closing, let us embrace this theme, educating for your future, not the past. Let our pursuit of education be guided by a deep understanding of its transformative power. Let us embrace interdisciplinary perspective and prioritize ethical considerations. Education is not just about acquiring degrees, it's about acquiring the skills, attitude, values that empower us to shape a better future for ourselves and those around us. So I encourage each of you to listen attentively to our speaker today and actively participate in the future of RTEF Talks. Continue to engage in meaningful discussions and open your mind to perspectives that may challenge your own. It is through this exchange of ideas that we can truly harness the transformative power of education. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to the enlightening conversations that we unfold here today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much to our keynote speaker for that enlightening address. Now let's briefly reflect on some of the insights from his speech. He said, education is a lifelong journey. And if you are not learning, I'm sorry, you are dying. He also told us to embrace education as a dynamic and not a static force. He said your degree and achievement will give you a foot at the door, but how you apply what you have learned to drive positive change is more important. At over 50, he is still reinventing himself and developing himself to capture more opportunities. Mr. Ofeko definitely does not look his age. We need to probe his birth certificate, right? So thank you very much once again for that enlightening address. And right now we'll move to our first speaker for the day. And I'll introduce our first speaker. This one, of course, is also very dear to my heart. Esther Tobechukwu Okafor. She is a graduate of microbiology from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Through this, she acquired research competence in food microbiology and African beer fermentation process. After Tochi's bachelor study, she worked in the food industry in Nigeria for about 4 years as a food safety and quality assurance professional. Here, she specialized in assuring food and water safety, microbiological analysis, continuous process improvement, and product development. Let me just add here, that's So Fresh, the company I co-founded, was one of the companies that Tochi worked while she was here in Nigeria. In 2019, she proceeded to the Netherlands to do her master's degree in food safety in Netherlands under the Orange Knowledge Program sponsored by the Ministry of Education, Netherlands. Currently, Esther is one of the early stage researchers on a Marie Curie doctoral fellowship program from the European Union, working on novel technologies with a focus on food safety and preservation. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's give a warm welcome to Mrs. Okafor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. Let me quickly share my screen. Yeah. So I hope everyone can see my screen. Hello?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
Good. Thank you, Mrs. Balogun, for the wonderful introduction. I'm so happy to be here. And it's a privilege to share my little knowledge on this important topic. And I hope that at the end of my presentation, maybe one or two persons would take one or two lessons that they can apply to their life, and they can make something out for themselves. So my topic is developing self for future opportunities. And just to give a breakdown, I would start with my background, because looking at when I thought about this topic and I sat down to meditate on it, I'm like, my background is a typical example of how have I gone from where I used to be to where I am now. And I thought about it and I said, it's simply thinking and developing myself for these opportunities. These opportunities did not just come to me by luck. I foresaw it, I wanted them, I desired them, and I worked towards achieving them. So I'll speak a bit from my background, and also when I'm talking about the topics, I would also take some key examples from my personal experiences. Then I'll move to what does it mean to develop yourself for future opportunities, then ways we can develop ourselves for future opportunities, and then I would conclude. And I hope after the conclusions, people can drop their questions in the Q&A session, and I will still be around to answer any question anyone would have. So my journey, I grew up in Lagos. I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. I live in Ikorodu all my life, so I'm not the Ajebo kind of person. And then I did my master's degree in my bachelor degree, sorry, between 2009 to 2014 at the University of Nigeria, where I studied microbiology. Microbiology wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do medicine and surgery, but I moved into microbiology. But along the line, I started loving microbiology and I decided to stay there. After 2014, I decided to start, after graduating, I got my first job at RevUp, where I was quality assurance for a water industry. And then after a year, I moved to SoFresh. So I worked at SoFresh between 2016 and 2019. And I worked under Mrs. Balogu and Mr. Goke Balogu, where I learned a lot and developed myself, not just within the sphere of food safety, but also in product development, strategy, continuous improvement. I decided to make myself a sponge to absorb as many skills as I can. Then after that, I knew that I didn't want to do my master's in Nigeria. So I moved I got a master's degree scholarship in 2019 to Wageningen University in the Netherlands. And this is where I studied for my master's in food safety under the Orange Knowledge Fellowship. So after 2021, I'm still very, I've always loved education. So I decided to do my doctorate degree. And here I am doing a Marie Curie doctoral fellowship at the University of Malta. So I'm speaking to you live from Malta. And also this PhD is in conjunction with the German Food Institute, where I research about new technologies that we can use to improve food safety and food preservation. So I will start today's topic by a saying by Louis Pasteur, who is early microbiologist. He said, in the field of observation, chance favor only those minds that are prepared. As a scientist, when we go through experiments and we do things, for you to truly observe, for you to truly get answers, your mind has to be prepared. And my question for you today is, for you to develop yourself for future opportunity, where is your mind? What thoughts are in your mind? What are the mindsets that you've developed? I would take a key example from when I studied microbiology. When you study microbiology in Nigeria, it's like, oh, you can't do anything with this degree. You just work in the bank, or yes, if you want to work in the bank, fine. But what can you do with this degree? I started thinking and I said, no, I wanted to be a scientist, and this is what I want. So your mindset is very key for you to develop yourself for future opportunity. I believe when you can change the mind, you can change the man. So what your mindset, and this will take me to this to the next part where it says your current state. What is your current state of mind? And you have to start from the point of introspection. Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? What skills do I need to get to my desired state? What are the gaps that would not let me get to my desired state? Are they your skills? Do you not have enough skills? Do you not have enough knowledge about certain things? It's more like a bricklayer, that a person that wants to build a house. You want to build a 5-story building. You need to count your cost. I need money for blocks. I need to pay the plumber. I need to do this. I need to build a structure. I need to get an architect who will draw the building of the house. You have to have all these plans in place and then build to finally build your desired house. So today, ask yourself, what is the current state I am in? Do a gap analysis of your life. Where do I want to see myself in 5 years? For example, I want to become a mechanical engineer. Where am I currently? I'm still a jambite. I am just writing my jam. So if I'm still a jambite now and I want to become a mechanical engineer in the next 5 years, what does it mean? It means that I have to pass jam. I have to get up to the cutoff mark. I have to get admission. I have to study well and then graduate. I have to get the relevant skills that makes me a good mechanical engineer. So you need to do a gap analysis of your life. The last speaker talked about introspection and self-awareness, and this is the key. You cannot get to your desired state without understanding where you are at your current state, and without understanding what you need to get in your current state to move to your desired state. So it is very, very key for you. And at this point, while you are thinking, while you are asking yourself the hard questions, I know you might come up with excuses like, oh, my background, I don't have the relevant support system. I don't have the money. I don't have the I don't have the money. I don't have the capability. I'm not good with writing. I am very shy. All these are excuses. And I feel that for everything you want to do in life, if you need to move out of your comfort zone, excuses will always be available why you should not move. So ask yourself, do I still want to remain in my comfort zone, or do I need to push myself? Many of the time, we're in a social media era where we see a lot of success story on social media. Nobody shares their failure story. Nobody shares how you see somebody win a 200 million scholarship and you're like, wow, I want to be like this person. But the person is not sharing the background of the process it took them to get to that point. So ask yourself, if you need to push yourself from your comfort zone, are you ready to do the hard work? If you need to develop yourself for future opportunities, you need to leave your comfort zone and you need to be ready to put in the work. So as you listen to this, I need you to reflect on all this. All of us desire success, but few of us are ready to put in the work to achieve that success. Few of us are ready to put in the work to become that future us that is already aligned for future opportunities. So first of all, you need to work on your mindset. And for this, I would pick myself as an example. When I finished my undergraduate in microbiology, I knew that I don't want to do my master's in Nigeria. I don't want to do my master's in Nigeria. And I want to do it abroad. But I don't have the money to sponsor myself abroad. So the only option for me was a scholarship. And I had no single idea of how to apply for a scholarship. My essay writing skill was zero. But I told myself, I'm going to put in the work. And between 2015 to 2019, I applied to over 40 to 50 scholarships. And in each of the process, I was getting no's. So imagine applying for scholarship within 4 years and getting rejection over and over again, over and over again. But what that process of failure taught me was, for each process I failed, I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? Is it the essay writing part? I met people that are very good with essay writing, made friends with them, they helped me. So these are the things that sacrifices we need to put if we want to develop ourselves for future opportunities. So my speech is very short. I will just go straight to, how do I develop myself for future opportunity? Like we spoke earlier, have a vision. You've introspected, you've done a gap analysis of your life. You've decided that this is where I am, this is where I want to be. You've analyzed what skills do I need to get to where I want to be. Now you have to ask yourself the hard question. What do I want to accomplish? What are the vision? I would encourage you to write down your vision. Write down your vision of what you want to be, where you see yourself. And as a youth, living in Europe for the last 2 to 5 years, I've seen the life we live in Africa and the life we live in Europe. I have studied the youth here and the youth back in Nigeria. And one thing I can say is that they explore different passion, different hobbies. We might not have the same opportunity, but in your small zone there, I want you to explore. Sometimes you might not even know what you want to be, but you can explore. Explore. If you have a passion for writing, please explore it. If at the point you explore it, you see it's I don't want to do this anymore, go into photography. If that is what you want to do, try to explore as much as possible. Because I don't think that it's very easy to say this exactly is what I want to be. It is in the place of exploration you are able to create that vision or impact for your life. Then, secondly, is to create smart goals. A lot of us, and when I say smart goals, I say specific, measurable, achievable, realizable, and time-bound goals. Set smart goals for your life. I want to be able to learn this language. I want to learn French language in between an intermediate level to an advanced level in 3 months. So you can see this is a smart goal. There is a time frame. It is measurable. It is specific. And take daily consistent actions in line with your goals and your vision. Like I said, for you to move from your comfort zone to the zone where you want to develop yourself for future opportunities, you need to take daily consistent actions. You need to let that goal be written in front of you. The Bible says, put the goals on, write the goals and run with it. Take daily consistent action. The fourth is to develop relevant support system. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go far, go alone. If you want to go well, go with others. So for you to get to any place in this life, you need relevant support system. This can be peer-to-peer, that is people that you share of your age, that you share relevant goals or the same goals. You can come together and develop a support system. During my scholarship application, I met a lot of people. I've never seen them physically, but we are all looking for scholarships. We are all hungry bachelor students that were looking for scholarship, and we created a WhatsApp group. And through that WhatsApp group, everybody in the group would always put in opportunities for scholarship, fully funded opportunities on the group. And then if you have an essay and you are not so sure of yourself, you can put your essay on the group and people would help you review it and make it look better before you submit. That was a relevant support system. And when I had rejections upon rejections, I always put it on the group and people would personally call me to say, encourage me. And that was the funniest thing was that it is in one of this session when I got a failure from one of my scholarships that one of them called me up and said, have you heard of the Orange Knowledge Fellowship? I'm like, I've never heard of it. It's like, oh, I have a friend that applied and didn't get it. Maybe you should apply. I applied and I got the scholarship one time. Compared to other scholarships I've applied over the years for 3, 4, 5 times. So it is in this peer-to-peer mentorship I got information that are relevant. Also mentorship. This could be people that have gone ahead of you, that have done those things that you want to do. You could link up with them on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. Your social media handle should be used for something very key. I would also take another example. I wanted to apply for a competition between with the science communication organized by the British Council in the Netherlands. And I said, I want to do this. And I went on LinkedIn, look for a Nigerian that has gotten this same opportunity in this competition. I found the person and I went directly and sent a message. And like, I need you to mentor me on this competition. He agreed and I applied for the competition and I got in, fortunately, and I was able to improve on my science communication aspect of my work, which is now in my CV. So your social media handles, put it to good use. I got PhD opportunities through social media handles of professors. I write to them and say, I want to work with you. I like your work. And these are the skills that I have built over time. This brings me to point number 6, develop relevant skills, hard skills. In your field of study, when you've decided that this is where I want to be, say computer engineering, what is trending in computer engineering now? What is the future of computer engineering? For me, I might not be able to say for computer engineering, but I know for my field, for microbiology, there is movement of AI into food safety. There is movement of AI into food safety training. There is new bioinformatics into food safety. So these hard skills, ask yourself, how do I get these hard skills? Because the more skills you get, relevant skills in what you want to do, the more value you add to yourself. Next is soft skills. As much as you want to get the technical skills and all of that, soft skills are also very important. Your communication skills, your writing skills, your Microsoft Excel skills. For me personally, I don't believe that any graduate, a bachelor in Nigeria, should not be able to use at least Word, PowerPoint, or Excel, basic level. Soft skills. So for you to remain relevant, you need to continually upskill yourself. You need to relevantly add skills that are important. Networking skills. All these are skills that are important in the 21st century. And lastly is taking care of yourself. We want to achieve all the goals in life and all of that, but it's important that the body is the vehicle for all these goals. So please take care of yourself. Eat good food, buy from So Fresh, exercise, have enough sleep. So because without your health, you cannot develop yourself for future opportunities. And I would like to end with a saying that whatever you set your mind to do, just know that it is possible. So I will say thank you for listening, and I've offered my 2 cents. I'll be anticipating questions so that I can elaborate more if you have any question. Thank you, Mrs. Balogun. Over to you.
Oh my goodness. Wow, please let's give a warm clap to Mrs. Okafor. That was very informative, insightful, and interesting. Just like the keynote speaker, there's something that personal stories, just does to what you have shared today. It helps us to connect deeper, into the message that you have shared. Thank you so much. And some of the insights from your speech that I am walking away with. I mean, there's this challenge around where is your mind? Where is your mind? When you can change the mind, you can change the man. That's supposed to get on sweet on X. Do a gap analysis of your life. What do you want to become? So that's a challenge to everyone listening right now, especially our youths that are still in school. What do you want to become in the next 2, 3, 5 years? And where are you now? And what skills, knowledge, attitude, network do you need to get you to your desired state? She also challenges to take personal responsibility for your life, drawing from her own personal experience and how she walked her way to where she is right now. Isn't it, inspiring that she, started from Nigeria. She used to live in Ikorodu, and now she is exploring, enjoying global opportunities just because she desired it so much and she went for it. Mr. Kafo also encouraged us to take care of ourselves. I am definitely the self-care queen, right? Taking care of myself is what I love best. So while we are chasing our dreams, working hard to get the best of grades from school, let us remember to do what? To take care of ourselves. Thank you once again for that very amazing speech. To our distinguished guests, please ensure to click the Q&A icon located at the top left-hand side of your screen to submit your questions for the speakers. Do add the speaker's name to your questions so we know whom to direct your questions to. I hope you all are having a very good time. Right now, we want to show you a video documentary called The RTEF Story. This presentation serves as a concise introduction to our identity and purpose. It delves into the influence of our past and our present state, and it articulates our aspirations for the future. It also provides a glimpse into how we started this foundation, what our journey has been, and what our aspirations for the future are. Let's appreciate again the profound legacy we aim to uphold. Ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
In a room illuminated by the beacon of compassion and the opportunity for education, there existed an extraordinary woman who imprinted an enduring legacy upon countless hearts. She was known as Mrs. Ruth Titilayo Taiwo. Mrs. Ruth Titilayo Taiwo, affectionately known as Iya Taiwo, surpassed the bounds of her position as a biology teacher. She epitomized hope, acted as a guardian angel to the marginalized, and ardently advocated for opportunity to receive an education. Her enduring legacy of compassion and dedication to education reached well beyond the confines of her classroom. She staunchly believed in affording every child the chance to learn, thrive, and excel, irrespective of their background or situation. In 2021, more than 20 years after her passing, the children of Iya Taiwo chose to commemorate her legacy and carry forward her admirable endeavors by founding the Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation. The foundation's mission is straightforward yet impactful: to ensure access to education for all Nigerians, breaking barriers and opening doors of opportunity for the underprivileged. by offering scholarships to economically disadvantaged students and implementing top-rated skill acquisition programs. The Titilayo Educational Foundation is effecting profound change, empowering communities throughout Nigeria. As the Titilayo Educational Foundation carries forward the legacy of Iya Taiwo, we envision the joy and pride she would have felt knowing that her legacy to education continues to light the way for future generations. Let's unite to honor the legacy of compassion and education. Join us in creating an impact. Together, we can power to transform lives.
Wow, that was emotional and yet inspiring. Wonderful and insightful. Iya Taiwo, my dear mother, was surely a rare gem, and we are grateful that her family decided to continue on this path. So thank you very much for this presentation. Okay, we're moving right on to the next speaker for more amazing insights. And now let's welcome our second speaker, Mr. Emeka Umba. Mr. Chukwuemeka is a person of faith, a writer, and a highly effective negotiator, relationship manager, and business development expert with vast experience in forming vertical and horizontal alliances. His forte transcends transactional law advisory, market entry strategy, sales excellence, and client relationship management. Mr. Mba, who is currently based in North America, is trained as a corporate commercial lawyer and writes on a variety of subjects. His works are available on Amazon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to our second speaker, Mr. Mba. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Abimbola. Thank you all for having me. You know, it's a sterling opportunity to be in the midst of great minds. And one of the biggest challenges that can happen to any speaker is to be prepped to speak after scholastic individuals have spoken, like our keynote speaker and our dear Ms. Esther Okafor. It's been an amazing session, and I wonder what else I can say. But just to continue in the exercise and throw more lights, you know, to double click in an area where they have done a very interesting work on, I want to talk on the point called harnessing creativity to drive positive change in different disciplines. Harnessing creativity to drive positive change in different disciplines. You know, the greatest Jewish fellow who ever lived said something in one of his many stories. And what he said was profound. He said, the first shall be the last, and the last shall be first. You know, people in the time perhaps misunderstood him, and they felt that what he was saying could just be or be limited to that the first persons are going to fail and the last are going to overtake them. Well, it can be that, but it can also mean that the first will be in the position of the last, and the last will also be in the position of the first. By that, there wouldn't be any first, there wouldn't be any last. Everybody will equalize. Because in life, something we have to come to terms with is that things keeps evolving. Things keeps evolving, and status keeps changing. And that's why one of the wisest of his time said that there is nothing new under the sun. Things keeps evolving. And I'll give you an instance that can drive my concept home, then I can begin to talk on creativity. In 1975, a man who happened to have worked in a particular bank for over as at then he was starting his career in the bank, but he has been working till the bank till 2022, you know, and he was in the bank, and next thing, a man that was wearing mask came into the bank, you know, and him being at the teller, what he did was he squatted down, picked up the phone, and made a call. Hey, 911, what is the emergency? There is a man wearing mask. He's in the bank. And guess what? Police came to arrest the man wearing mask because that's suspicious. Why are you wearing mask? And the man in 2021, In 2021, the same thing repeated itself again, but this time around, the coin had flipped the other side. There was a man that entered, sorry, in 2020, it flipped the other side. There was a man that entered the bank without wearing a mask. The same person squatted down and made the call. Hello, 911. What's your emergency? There is a man that entered the bank without wearing a mask. I guess you understand the twist, because in 2020, mask was a thing and not wearing a mask was an issue. So that shows you how things start to flip. Remember when we were young, I mean, by the time our keynote speaker was in his, let's say, teenage age, I'm sure his parents would have told him things like, oh, you must go to school, focus only on school. Don't waste your life doing music. Don't waste your life playing football. Don't waste your life plumbing, and don't waste your life in all those things. But today, he has gone to school, but he did not stop at school. He has added plumbing to it. And I'm sure there are other talents that he has, he did not want to display. It may interest you to know that if you go to football academy, the queue that parents have to get their kids in football academy is more than the queue of those waiting for common entrance results. Things have changed and they keep changing. But what is going to stand you out when things change is creativity. Without creativity, you enter oblivion, no matter how in demand what you are doing is today. So what changed within those periods is simple. Because as at then, education was a novel thing, there were few people going into education, and sports or whatever was a common thing. Many people were into sports. And just like the principle of economics, the elementary principle of economics, once there is limited supply, there is what? Great demand. And once there is great demand, they become limited supply. So what happened? We had little supply of educated people and there was great demand. So it was very competitive. They were looking for graduates and all. But if we hear from the likes of our keynote speaker, they will tell you that in their time, or in the time of our fathers, by the time you are done with school, you are guaranteed of a job. Companies will queue up waiting for you. They will give you your first card. They will give you all those things. But these days, it's not even like that. In fact, some companies are beginning to charge students for them to do internship with them. You know, so times have changed. So what happened? So while people were zeroing in on education, not as if anything is wrong with education, some people that continued in sports in an area that was seemingly becoming neglected now became a thing of demand. So now what has happened? Levels have changed, and that which seemed common has become priceless, and that which seemed priceless has seemingly become common. So how do we put ourselves in this equilibrium, or make sure that we are not on the receiving end, that regardless of how the clock tilts, or regardless of how the equilibrium shakes, that we are in a favored position? That is where creativity comes into the picture. By that, I'm trying to tell you, you can always be in demand regardless of what is happening if you can dare to be different. And there's a country that decided to take that challenge to the next level, and that's Japan. You know, a lot has been happening in our country and some other countries, not being fair to Nigeria. And even in North America, it may interest you to know, we think that we copy the English, but here in North America, these people copy a whole lot. As at the time the Queen was alive, the Queen was still the leader. The leader, I'm not talking about just a one-time colonial leader, was still the leader of Canada. You know, the currency of Canada has the face of the Queen till date. You know, so Nigeria, we're not that terrible, right? We've elevated ourselves from that kind of slavery. So people find it hard to challenge the status quo. If you're taking an oath of citizenship today in Canada, you're swearing an oath to the Queen. And it doesn't make sense, right? So people are always rigid in their ways. But one of the ways you can break forth is to challenge the status quo. A country that did that is Japan. For instance, I'll give you an example of what how they said challenging status quo. In the issue of education, they said, for instance, that we will have to stop grading students. And why? If you start examining, why do we grade students? You know, I'll give you a typical instance. Your child comes back from school and they tell you, hey, that is end of term. What was your position? I came first. You say, wow, good boy, you came first. And if you dare to ask them for their results, it may break your heart to find out that this person that came first actually came first, but there was an issue with the first. For instance, in mathematics, he got 67% in mathematics, and every other person got below 67%. And that means by default, he came first. But did he make an A? No. So you see, you are just grading for grading sake, and people are competing only with people they can see. Whereas there are people in other schools that are clearing everything in that syllabus and getting 100 over 100. But you are 67 and you think you are the champion. That what happens, and you become what? A local champion. So they decided to challenge the status quo and say, hey, we have to stop grading. We have to stop grading. And grading brings out a mentality that people fail to put in their best only when they are in direct competition with others. So you are comparing what A and B is doing, what C and D is doing, without actually introspecting to say, what can I do? So it's just beyond competition. And that brings me to what our keynote speaker said. What is really the essence of education? I said to define education. I said the essence of education is one, for mental liberation and providing solutions to challenging situations. And I'll say it again. The essence of education is first, mental liberation, teaching you how to think and being able to provide solutions to challenging situations. So if you have a degree, you have your BSc and you have your MSc and you have your PhD, and at the end of it, you still can't think for yourself. If you are touched, all you are saying is what Aristotle said. And all you are saying is what Pluto said. All you are saying is what Warren Buffett said. You don't have any opinion of your own. What you have succeeded in doing is to go to cram. You've gone and crammed a lot of principles. That is not education. You have to have what we call mental liberation, and you are able to bring in practical solutions to challenging situations. And just like he said, you have to start thinking out of the box. You know, if we were thinking out of the box in our school system, we'll start challenging a lot of things. Like our keynote speaker said, they tell us A is for apple. A is for apple, and we don't even, and in fact, first time I saw apple, I think I was already a teenager when I saw apple, and it was beautiful. For that first time, I started making excuses for Eve for falling for the temptation that the serpent induced her into eating the fruits, you know, because I'm like, this beautiful thing has to be so delicious, right? But guess what? All through our Nigerian life, we have not been able to grow an apple. Why are you telling a child? Why are you telling Tunde in Ogun and telling Musa in Nasarawa and telling Emeka in Aba that A is for apple, whereas they don't grow apple? Why don't you tell them A is for Ada? That way, Musa begins to understand that there's someone called Ada. He may not be from my tribe, from another tribe, but if A is for Ada, that means Ada should be recognized as a person. That way, Obi that is from Enugu that knows that A is for Ada understands that women should come first. If we have to begin, A is for Ada. Ada should always come first. They begin to understand some basic principles because it is something they can connect with. So going beyond that, instead of going to school and studying shorthand that we studied in business studies and we've not had use of it till date, why don't we study coding? Why don't we understand basic principles, basic little things in coding? You know, there are some Thomas Jefferson College in the United States. Kids in that school are already studying quantum physics. Quantum physics is something people that specialize in physics in Nigeria study in their third, fourth years in the university. But these guys are already being exposed to these things. A typical instance is even in the basic things like 1 + 1, 2. Why are you telling them 1 + 1, 2? And this is my challenge, because we already have an issue with the language. It's a borrowed language. You are not entitled to know how to speak it, and you should not feel intimidated. You don't know how to speak English. It's a borrowed language. There's already a challenge with comprehension. So how are you trying to pass across a discipline with an incomprehensible language? It becomes challenging. That's why we have half-baked students, because you are teaching them a discipline in a tongue that is not theirs. And this is not what other countries are doing. So why don't we, instead of saying 1 + 1 is 2, why don't we say 1 naira plus 1 naira equals to 2 naira. That way they can relate to it. Howbeit we begin to teach maths in Igbo? Howbeit we begin to teach physics in Yoruba? What if we begin to teach chemistry in Hausa? Don't you think there will be more understanding? Could that be the reason why it seems our friends in the north are having challenges with education? Because you're trying to teach them a concept in another man's language. Can't we step this down to our own language? These are the things we are talking about. Creativity, challenging the status quo. How do we revolutionize the way we do things, the way we step down information? Because if we do not do that, things will remain the way they are. And a typical instance, the legal profession of which I'm part of is saturated. Every year, the Council of Legal Education and the Supreme Court, they are always interested in churning out thousands and thousands and thousands of lawyers amongst all those that are unemployed. And the same thing with the medical profession, that even the likes of Canada, America, UK, Australia, they are now stand as poachers. Once Nigeria is done training them, they'll poach them. So what can make you stand out in that particular discipline? Is challenging the status quo. It's challenging the status quo that made Aporoko doctor to decide to go on social media and to give his 2 cents advice. And that 2 cents advice has made him one of the powerful influencers when it comes to health information, when it comes to impact in terms of well-being and all that. How? Because he decided to be creative about his medical profession, not to limit himself to just the 4 walls of a hospital or a clinic. If you can be able to step down what Aporoko has done into your own profession in finance, into your own profession in law, into your own profession in microbiology, in chemistry, in physics, in mass communication, you'll be able to make great impact. So what are we advocating for? So my advice is for 2 sets of people, for the educators. Now, this is my advice. First, that we should have what we call project-based learning. Project-based learning. Not just theoretical learning, project-based learning. Let the kids get to work together. Let them begin to do things together. There they are gaining not just technical skills, but they are gaining as well soft skills. They are building competence. They're understanding what it means to have strong interpersonal skills, team playing, team bonding. They're understanding that they are doing peer-to-peer evaluation. They are understanding how things are working, how to work in a team, which is a big deal in this part of the world. Another aspect is gamification. If you understand that, just the same way we chase rabbits back in the days and chase bushmeat, what do? We try to put a bait, right? And once that animal comes for that bait, the hunter gets it. Fine. If you notice that students have short attention span, but when it comes to games, they're always interested. Why don't you sync that game and education, make a hybrid of them? That's what we talk about, edutainment and all that. Step down education in a way it becomes interesting, in a way that when you tell a child don't go to school, they will start crying because they want to go and learn. If you keep on doing things the old traditional way of white chalk and blackboard, you wouldn't be able to create interest in that area. Another thing is collaborative learning. Don't just limit that child in Aba to the 4 walls of schools in Aba. He needs to understand there's something like school also happening in Oyo. There's something like school also happening in Ogu, in Shagamu. Let him also intermingle with all those people. That is why back in the years, our parents, they actually got it right when they introduced the unity schools. The unity schools were so amazing. It could bring the children of nobody, of everybody, of different tribe, of different faith, and they come into one circle. That collaboration built strong network. And that is why today you say that there are 2 or 3 tribes in Nigeria. One is the tribe of the rich, the elites, and then others. And the reason why the elites, despite their different tribes and they are united, is that most of them, they schooled in these unity schools. They built forever bonds in those places. And that collaboration helps to endear those values. Collaboration also means challenging the status quo. Yes, I am the best in Anike Grammar School, but am I in the best in the world? You go online, check what is happening. As an educator, can you partner with a school in Century to know, hey, what are they doing? What are they doing differently? Is there anything in their syllables that we can learn, or anything in our own syllables that we can share with them, because they're always willing to learn from us. So these are the key issues. Another situation is a flipped classroom situation. The kids are just used to having their understanding of the education inside the classroom. Why don't you take them out of the classroom for them to know that things cannot always be the way they've been, that things can change? Why don't take them out in the field and impart education in the field? And why don't you carry that thing, activities of the field, and bring into the classroom? By the time you give them this orientation, you know that things can always be flipped from time to time, and things can always change. They have this adaptive mindset and become flexible to change. So their first disappointment is not a shocker. They know that things are programmed to change. Now, my final advice is for the ones being educated, which includes my audience, myself, and every one of us. How can we bring in creativity to our discipline? The first one is critical thinking. Like our keynote speaker said, I cannot emphasize enough. You have to learn how to think outside the box. And when you go outside the box, think within the box, scatter the box, and keep thinking without boundaries, without limitation. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. The problem with the average African is that they refuse to think. They outsource their thinking to others, and that is why there is no impact. When you decide to do the thinking yourself, a lot of change will happen. Another aspect is challenging the status quo. Don't just take instructions because that's what they taught you or that's what they said. Why is it so? Ask questions. By challenging the status quo, we don't mean become a rebel or fight people. No, but question what you are told, because nothing is as it seems. So begin to question what you are told. If you don't question it, you will be stuck in your old ways. When I was growing up, we were told that we had just 9 planets. But today, there are countless of planets. What happened? Did God create new planets? No, because people started asking questions, started probing. We found out more. So when you stop questioning, you stop receiving answers. So you have to keep asking. You have to keep asking. The third one is be impact driven. Not just go ahead acquiring certificates. You have OND, you have HND, you have BSc, you have all the degrees like a thermometer. No, be impact driven. What is the essence of this degree that I have? How many people have I impacted? The founder of this platform that we are sharing today may be no more, but you see her legacy lives on. Why? Because she's impact driven. And if you are a beneficiary of her lages, and if you are an advocate of what she has done, the best way to pay her forward or back is to be impact driven. How am I impacting my society? How am I driving change? How am I evolving, making positive impact in my world? And the other one is be ready to unlearn. Learn and relearn, because when you understand that what you used to know is no longer correct and valid, be humble enough to unlearn all those things and relearn and keep learning. Like our keynote speaker said, he's a student of learning. He's always learning. He's devoted to continuous personal education. You cannot afford to be static in this time. Otherwise, you end up being the first that became the last. But the only one thing that can keep you trending per time is that you are always evolving, always engineering yourself. Open your mind to learning. Then finally, the last point is M&E, which is monitoring and evaluation. Monitor, monitor, monitor. You cannot evaluate what you've not monitored. Monitor this degree I have. What has it done for me? This knowledge I have of physics, how has it impacted my life? Until you begin to monitor and evaluate yourself, because a wise speaker once said, a life not evaluated is not worth living. If you don't monitor the impact you're making, the exposure you are having, the experiences you are gathering, you wouldn't understand whether it's of any value or not. So finally, my people, I will encourage you that in these trying times, in this kind of situation that we are in the world globally, that you have to learn how to be creative. And that's how you can stand out in your area of discipline. Thank you so much for your time. And I appreciate this platform, and I appreciate the great things everyone is doing. And I look forward to opportunities connecting with you all. Thank you so much.
Whoosh! Whoosh! incredible insights and knowledge shared on the topic, harnessing creativity to drive positive change in different disciplines. Please let's put our hands together for Mr. Mba. That was electrifying. That was hot. That was intense and value packed. Some of the insights from his speech just it resonates with the opening quote that we started this program with, which is that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So how will you apply this wisdom that has been shared so far today in your different disciplines? How will you dare to be different and embrace creativity, embrace critical thinking, challenge the status quo, be impact driven, and keep learning, keep being a student of learning? The essence of education, he said, is for mental liberation and being able to provide real solutions to challenging situations. Thank you once again, Mr. Mba. That was so good. Again, to our distinguished guests, for all your questions, please remember to add them by clicking on the Q&A icon located at the top left-hand side of your screen. Remember to add the speaker's name to your question so we know whom to direct your questions to. Thank you very much. And right now, for more amazing insights on the theme of our program, let's welcome the third speaker for today, Mr. Balogun. He will be speaking on the topic, leveraging academic success to build a sustainable career. Leveraging academic success to build a sustainable career. Mr. Kunle Balogun has a PhD in mechanical engineering with a specialization in thermofluids and renewable energy. He also has invaluable professional experience spanning 23 years in both public service and academia. As a passionate academic, he loves to impart knowledge in the STEM field, motivate students to reach their full potential, and provide pastoral care to them across all levels of learning in universities. He was a lecturer at the following institutions: Elizade, landmark universities, and briefly on a part-time basis, the University of Ilorin. He has not only worked in the educational sector, actively engaging in teaching and research, but also in the public sector, garnering strong technical, administrative, and interpersonal skills. Mr. Balogun area of research borders on the use of sustainable energy resources, green technology, and promoting eco-friendly practices. And to his credits, he has over 20 articles and conference papers in peer-reviewed and high-impact factor journals. Currently, he is a mechanical engineering lecturer in the further education sector at Preston College, UK, where he facilitates and assesses different engineering courses. On a personal note, he loves traveling to the countryside, singing and listening to music. Additionally, he enjoys engaging with nature because it gives him unimaginable inspiration and fills him with awe. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our third speaker, Mr. Kunle Balogun. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Sharing my screen now. I hope everyone can see it.
Yes, sir, we can.
All right, thank you. I think my job has been made easy because all I have to say has already been said by many people here. So I'll just kind of summarize what has been said. Let me start on the note of commendation because I believe the Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation deserves a great deal of this. They are doing an amazing job, and there's no doubt about that. Over the years, the RTEF has made effort to remove financial barriers in the way of indigent and underprivileged students, inspired so many towards personal development, and created a platform for skill acquisition. And my family and I say a big congratulations for this incredible work. And we pray and hope that it will expand immeasurably beyond your dreams and imagination. I have no doubt that Yataiwo will be smiling proudly down on our children for this incredible work they are doing. I consider it a great privilege and honor to be a presenter at the RTEF Talks in this year 2024, and I'm sincerely grateful for this opportunity. Now, the topic for consideration is leveraging academic success to build a sustainable career. Based on my understanding and for the purpose of this presentation, I'd like to recast this as taking advantage of your educational achievement to develop a reliable and solid professional profile. To develop, to create, to build, these are action-oriented phrases that suggest that academic success is not an end in itself, rather it's a means to an end. Immediately, two questions arise. The first one is, how do I build this profile using my academic success? How does Abubakar build this profile using his academic success? How does Fumilayo build her profile using her academic success? And the second question is, what will this profile achieve? These two questions will form the focal point of my presentation this afternoon. Let me start with the second question, because it gives you an idea of what you stand to benefit as an individual if you have this sort of profile. So quickly, three things. You can use your hard-earned, in quote, technical skills and knowledge. The second thing is it provides you a reliable means of income. And the third is that it grants you job satisfaction. Let's look at each of these in a closer detail. So back to the first point. This sort of profile provides you a platform to deploy your professional skill and knowledge for community impact. And I hear somebody say, what do I mean by community impact? So for instance, as an engineer, you can design systems, machines, processes to minimize input for improved productivity. Or as a lawyer, you can mediate or intervene between warring parties, which could be organizations or individuals, to promote peaceful coexistence. Or even as an entertainer, you can produce music, films, or other creative works to facilitate education and entertainment for a well-rounded living. Now, it's expected that during your educational pursuit, you will have gathered some useful practical skills backed with sound theoretical knowledge, and you can use this to add value in a community, either as an entrepreneur or an employee. Now, the second point regarding what this profile can achieve is that it assures you of a steady source of income. And with this, you can enjoy the fruit of your labor, you can take care of yourself personally, and you can even put something aside to take care of the future. In addition to having earnings from this profile, you can gather other important competencies that can enhance your value, your worth as a specialist, thus making you not only globally relevant, but also capable of attracting significant economic fortune. Now, regarding global relevance, let me say this. I know some professionals who can only make impact in a place where they have godfathers, patrons, whom they constantly curry favor for. When you remove them from that environment, they become utterly useless. Whereas there are other professionals who can truly thrive wherever their expertise is required. Now, my passionate appeal to you today is that you make an effort to be the latter, because not only does it preserve your self-dignity, but it also guarantees your independence. I've seen expert specialists lose these important attributes, and it's not a nice place to be. Now to the third point about what this profile can achieve for you as a person. It guarantees job satisfaction, which in turn promotes productivity, strengthens employer-employee relationship, and accelerates your career advancement. Now, the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm to resume work every morning, regardless of discouragement, can only be sustained by a deep sense of personal fulfillment at work. Now, besides the workplace benefit of employee satisfaction, there are other things it does. It promotes dignity and self-respect, ensures a healthy self-esteem, and enhances mental and physical well-being. I can confidently tell you from personal experience that it also makes for a strong family bond. And for those who value this, it's simply incredible. Now let's move to the second question. How do I build this professional profile using my academic success? But hold on. Wait, how do you rate academic success? What is academic success really? It could mean different things to different people, couldn't it? Now, from this long list of accomplishments, what does academic success mean to you as a person? Don't forget, some of these attainments are time-bound. So what happens thereafter? Beyond and above academic success is education. Functional education that liberates, creates a wholesome sense of self-awareness, and equips individuals with tools, skills, and knowledge to navigate the treacherous world of labor, as well as life. Education. Education. I repeat, education is key to building a sustainable career. Let me tell you a real-life short story to illustrate my point about the importance of education.
I'm wondering, there is no sound.
No sound?
In the first video as well, there was no sound, but we could read the text on the screen.
Wow.
But you can just go ahead so that doesn't disrupt you. Don't worry, please go ahead. We can read the text on it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I learned that there was no audio in this presentation. I hope you got the general gist of what I was saying. Anyway, so I'm sure many of you are burning with anxiety to know who these extraordinary guys are. Bimbo and Goke Balogun, founders of So Fresh Neighborhood, have been in business for over a decade. And obviously, this is an abridged version of their story. If you need further clarification, insight into their reality, you can see them after the program. I'm sure they won't deny you an interview. Now, I chose to tell this story because I believe it's one that people can relate to. Unlike coming here to tell you about Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, people whose reality you are not aware about. I also believe that education and exposure were fundamental to the evolution of Goke's dream as an entrepreneur. So at this point, let me introduce you to the offered model for building a sustainable career. That is open-mindedness, flexibility, adaptability, and being digitally minded. You just have to be open-minded. In other words, you have to be willing to listen to consider and accept new ideas, because new opportunities might just be lurking around the corner or staring you in the face, and without open-mindedness, you might just miss it. Imagine if Goke obstinately insisted on doing medicine, he may not have seen the opportunity in doing business. Leave behind a lot of your prejudices and your notion of ideals and face reality head on. Let me highlight some of these realities. One, as has been said severally during this presentation, is that the once cherished white-collar jobs are no longer in existence. And even the ones that you have, they cannot provide the kind of satisfaction and remuneration you might desire. I have been there and I know what I'm talking about. Now, the second reality is this. In the labor market, there is a dire need of a lot of 21st century skills, which you may not have been equipped with while you were studying in school. What do you do then? Do you throw your hand in defeat and expect manna from heaven? No. You reskill and you upskill. I have a list of website addresses that you can visit to gather skills, knowledge, and what have you about almost any field. I recall visiting Coursera while I was trying to upgrade my skill in data analysis, and it was hugely beneficial. My advice for you is to try out any of this site and pitch your tent with anyone that suits you well. Now, the last reality is this: multi-skilling is the way to go. This was clearly demonstrated by the career progression of our keynote speaker. Here was somebody who started out as a student in agri-economics, moved into insurance, did his MBA, went into estate and properties, and even at an advanced age, he still went back to school to learn plumbing and electrical fittings. What other example do you need to underscore the fact that a single skilled person will find it difficult to survive in our world today? You may also have noticed that I keep repeating the importance of skill in my presentation. That's because emphasis is shifting from degrees to skills, from certificate to performance, from head knowledge to hands-on competencies. And I'll give you an example. Recently in the UK, I attended an interview with two other candidates in the further education sector. One of them was British. He had a teaching qualification and he was teaching in a UK institution. You'd say the odds were stacked against me, wouldn't you? But aside from our paper qualification, we were made to do a micro-teach session, something like mock teaching, where our teaching competencies were also evaluated. Guess what? Even though I didn't have a teaching qualification, I outperformed both of them and I was given the job. I know some of you might quickly dismiss my story and say it can only happen in the UK. Agreed. But don't forget, the teaching skills and experience were not gained in the UK. And that takes me back to my initial point about making yourself globally relevant, so that when the opportunities come, you can seize them with both hands. Now, the World Economic Forum did a research and published their finding in 2016, where they listed some of the essential skills for the 21st century. A number of these has been mentioned by different speakers. Here, I present it as a table: communication, collaboration, information, leadership, productivity. I can't touch on all of this, but I'd like to emphasize critical thinking. Critical thinking involves you asking questions: when, how, what, then, how, why, what if. The most interesting part of this question for me is what if, because it presents you with different perspectives and therefore does not limit the options that you have. After asking these questions, you go ahead to gather data, find facts, make keen observations, so that you can do your analysis and come to a sound judgment about any issue that you are interested in. One of the speakers harped on this very much, and I think it's very important that we begin to engage our thought, our brain. I'm one of persons that believe in thinking and using a God-given resource, thinking. Now to the next point: flexibility. It's important that you are willing and able to change to suit new conditions. Your resilience and agility to adapt to new situations will be tested several times, and how you respond may make or mar your career progress. In the recent past, the outbreak of COVID-19 queried the value of so many job categories, in which we now see many people having to sit back and work from home, and many others were replaced by virtual employees, thanks to AI. So imagine someone who has worked all his or her life from an office environment, complaining and resisting this change, saying he cannot embrace this new flexible work approach. Is risking losing his or her job. It's essential that you are flexible in this dynamic world of labor demands, so that you can remain on the competitive edge, which makes you also timelessly relevant. Adaptability is key to adjusting to any new situation. This may involve a mindset shift, a behavioral change, or even a reorientation to fit into a new arrangement. I'm sure you heard during my citation that I was a lecturer back in Nigeria. Here's a place where title and social status is a big thing. Back there, I would have been referred to as engineer doctor or doctor engineer. But I'm in a place where boys and girls the age of your children will call you by your first name. Sometimes they even pronounce it very wrongly. You hear things like Kunli, Kunle. But what do? In order to fit into this situation, I just have to adapt. Or is it back in Nigeria as a lecturer, when you stand in front of the class, you are seen as the sole authority in your field and you command respect and authority? That's not the case here. If you need them to do anything, you have to be persuasive. You have to muster convincing reasons to get them to do anything. Unlike back home, where my presence alone commands authority and I can get my students to do anything I want. For me to function effectively in this environment, I have to embrace my new situation, which requires a reorientation. Now to my last point, being digitally minded. Like one of the speakers said, it's inexcusable that a young graduate, a student today in Nigeria, is not digitally compliant. You just have to embrace digital technology in all facets of your endeavor. It's no gainsaying that this disruptive invention has ubiquitously permeated every sphere of our life, so that we see it from telecommunication to transportation, from learning to leisure, from bantering to business, from fashion to flying, from entertainment to education. This creates an acute shortage of technical skills and makes it readily available for people to take advantage of. For instance, there are so many areas now that skills are being required, including maintenance and repairs of electric vehicles. Countries like the UK have set a target of 2030 to stop the production of vehicles being driven by fossil fuel. This implies that so many years down the line, you need skills in this particular area. Other areas in which you need skills include 3D printing and additive manufacturing. And I also want to make note of this particular interesting area, game design. I did a little research and found out that 40% of the richest game developers are from Japan. And the list of them is worth like $3 billion. So all this game you play here and there, you are simply making money for some people. So who said that you cannot develop games around some of the interesting and notable festivals in Nigeria? Arugungu Festival in Sokoto, Eyo Festival in Lagos, Igunu Festival somewhere in the North Central, and a lot of other interesting activities around the country. You can also design games around some of the scenic and beautiful landscape across Nigeria, Mambila Plateau, Obudu Ranch, and things like that. And when people play your game, you make some cool money. Another area is animation, which is required in virtually all sectors, from advertisement to education to entertainment. The animation you saw me present here today, even though you didn't quite enjoy it, cost a fortune. If you can get to learn this skill, it's going to come in handy for now and even in the future. The last area I'd like to touch on is programming and computational demands in engineering and manufacturing. This is huge and is something that you can begin to learn. I recall somebody talking about coding. Yes, that is the place to begin to acquire this sort of skills. At this point, I'd like to note access to internet is no longer a luxury. It's an absolute necessity. But I'd like to sound a note of warning. The internet is filled with a lot of precarious junks. But on the other hand, it's also richly endowed with precious jewels that young graduates can take advantage of. So, my advice to you today is that you take responsibility to sift the resources and consume what is edifying. In conclusion, regardless of what academic success means to you as a person, acquiring a solid, functional education that liberates your mind and impacts on you self-discovery and self-development capabilities is far more important. This allows you to be flexible, open-minded, adaptable in a way that you can spot and take advantage of opportunities to evolve a sustainable career. Therefore, I encourage you to make it your lifelong passion. Thank you for listening.
That was so beautiful. Let's put our hands together for our third speaker, Mr. Kunle Balogun. Thank you so much for those rich insights that you shared on how to leverage academic success for to build a sustainable career. You also said taking advantage of academic success to build a solid professional profile. I particularly like the offered concept. That's my first time hearing that, and that was quite good. Oh, open-mindedness, flexibility, adaptability, and embracing digital transformation. Most importantly, Mr. Balogun has challenged us all to make ourselves globally relevant. In today's 21st century, you cannot afford not to be globally relevant. So how would you position yourself for global opportunities, leveraging your academic success? A big round of applause to all our speakers. I want you to react to that. Put your hands together for all our speakers. They did a fantastic, incredible job. And interestingly, they are all Nigerian university graduates. They had their first degree here, but they are out there, you know, capturing global opportunities in different continents. That is so beautiful. Thank you. I can see the reactions. We are most grateful. Do not forget to send in your questions. We have a bit of some questions already, and we will crave the indulgence of all our speakers to stay on the call and be ready to answer their question. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to show you another video called the RTEF Impact Report. This report underscores the profound impact of the RTEF programs, showcasing the transformative journey of our scholars. Please stay tuned and enjoy.
In Nigeria, access to education is a luxury many families cannot afford. For countless wards from indigenous backgrounds, the dream of attending school remains just that, a dream. But amidst the struggles, there shines a beacon of hope, our foundation. With our unwavering commitment, we've transformed the lives of about 60 students across 23 states in Nigeria by providing them with financial support for their school fees and upkeep, and to some the opportunity to learn some of the most sought-after skills in the world.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on this RTEF Talks 2024. And this is our second year of doing this program. My name is Ifeoluwa Dixon, and I am the CFO of RTEF and also a trustee. I'm here to just show you or to talk to you about all that we've done so far in the space of 2 years. So far in 2 years, RTEF has been able to award 52 scholarships to different individuals, ranging from school tuition scholarship down to vocational scholarship as well, in terms of skill acquisition program. Last year, we got over 6,000 applications cut across the country, only shortlisted 125 candidates, and 17 were successful, and we were able to award scholarship to those ones because of limited funds. Our joy would have been to cover the entire 125 that scaled through the rigorous interview sessions, but due to limited funds, we could only cater for 17. Our plea this afternoon really is for you to come with us on this journey and to be part of a partner and to partner with us at RTEF. We believe strongly that if we are able to award 100 scholarships in a year, would move that ability to scale it to 1,000 and to 10,000 is there, with you working with us hand in hand. Our joy would be to see everyone educated. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ife. And this is what some of our scholars would have to say.
Ms. Ishuadini, I am a 500 level student of law at the University of Ilorin. I'm a beneficiary of the RTEF scholarship. Before winning the scholarship, I used to be someone that aspired for scholarships. And upon winning it, has actually been there for me. Also, before winning the scholarship, I used to pass through some financial challenges. But with the scholarship and financial assistance, it has been there for me to help me concentrate. And I'm now able to navigate my studies without the worries of financial challenges and constraints. Thank you so much, RTEF. And with this scholarship, it has impacted my life in the sense that it has given me hope of a brighter future. Thank you, RTEF, for this very rewarding experience in terms of financial assistance and mentorship session. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Hello, my name is Success Ifeanyi BC. I'm a 500 level student of microbiology in the Federal University of Technology, Mina. I am a scholar under the Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation program, and I was so happy to be selected, I think around September last year. During the course of the scholarship application, I put in an application during October, and just like I applied for other scholarships, I have been disappointed a lot of times, but I just felt like the scholarship program was one that would make a difference in my life, and one that will actually serve in sponsoring education and allowance. And I think when I got the email of me being the recipient of the scholarship, I was really elated because it was actually well needed. It came at the right time, and it served to solve most of my financial needs in school. And I'm very grateful to the foundation, grateful to the founder, grateful to the program director, grateful to the managing director, and all those who are involved in putting together this foundation, who is focused on making lives of Nigerian students, making lives of those who are in need of funding, who are in need of assistance in education, making this possible. I express my gratitude to all those who are part of the sponsors, those who are supportive of this program, supportive of this vision, to make this foundation moving, to make this scholarship a success. And to me, this scholarship actually been a source of motivation to me. It has been a motivation in the sense that it's made me feel that Nigerian students, are deserving of support in education. It makes me have this belief that we're on the right path to ensuring that education is made affordable, education is made to have more reach into Nigerian lives, and I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity. Also, I'm using this opportunity to invite each and every Nigerian to the RTEF Talks that's coming up on the 16th of March. This is a talk and a program that aims to, impact and educate Nigerian students on values, on educational topics, on skills that are beneficial to them, beneficial to the future. And I feel that this is a program that should not be missed. I feel that this is a program that each and every Nigerian student goes in school, and universities, college of education, polytechnics, and what have you. I feel this is a program that should be attended at all costs, please. It's going to be an online program, and the link is going to be shared. I strongly encourage you to attend, and I hope to see you there. So once again, I'm actually grateful to the Ruth Titilayo Educational Foundation for the opportunity given unto me to be part of their scholars as the 2023 recipient of the Ruth Titilayo Foundation Scholarship. And I am honored, and I'm also anticipating to see each and every one of you at the talk show. See you there. Thank you.
It will be a bad news if you hear that Jimetoke and Yanu drop out from school. Many students were faced with a lot of frustrations when the news of the increase in school fees broke out. But I, as a two-time Ruth Titilayo Education Foundation scholar, was filled with nothing but smiles and joy. Why? Because I knew that Ruth Titilayo Education Foundation will come through for me. This isn't the first time I have faced such situations. In my third year, when the news of an increase in school fees broke out, and now in my 4th year, Titilayo Educational Foundation has been there to support me throughout my 3rd year and my 4th year. So many students face the challenges, some drop out, some are frustrated, but nothing happened to me because I know Titilayo will come through for me. Hello everyone, I am Dimeto Kehinde Iyanu, a 400 level student of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, a 2-time Titilayo Educational Foundation scholar. When I received the news that I've been selected for the Titilayo Educational Foundation scholarship, I was overwhelmed with a mix of emotions, excitement, and gratitude. It was a moment. I will never forget in my life, as it marked the beginning of an incredible journey in my life. Prior to receiving this scholarship, my academics faced a lot of financial challenges, a lot of financial constraints. Most time I do tutorial, most time I help others so as to generate money to assist my parents in paying my bills and buying some academics material. I struggle to afford the necessary resources and opportunity to fully immerse myself in my studies. However, thanks to the support of Titilayo Educational Foundation, I've been able to continue my education without any struggles. The support from RTEF alleviated the burden of my school fees, allowing me to focus wholeheartedly on my studies without worrying about financial constraints. This is truly a game changer in my life. It has enabled me to fully immerse myself in my academic pursuits and pursue opportunities that were once out my reach. The impact of RTEF on my life extends far beyond the financial support and financial assistance. Through their support, I have gained access to invaluable resources, mentorship through scholar hangouts, and I will never forget this scholar hangout because Titilayo Education Foundation has written many chapters in my story. The Titilayo Education Foundation first scholar hangout really changed a lot in my life because I once lost interest in civil engineering, but with the help of the hangout, I was able to rekindle my interest back in civil engineering and my academic performance. Through the scholar hangout, I have met a lot of scholars, network with people, and I have gained networking opportunity that have enhanced my academics and personal growth. Because majority of the scholars, we do chats together, we do talk to each other, and they've really helped me and they've really assisted me academically and in gaining some opportunities. I would love to appreciate Titilayo Education Foundation for this privilege to be among the awardee 2 times. Despite winning the scholarship the first time, I was also given the opportunity to win it for the 2nd time. Thank you very much, Titilayo Education Foundation, for this great opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I would love to appreciate all the financial members of RTEF and everyone that contributed, that have been contributing to this success, because you are helping students, you are impacting lives, you are helping students to focus on the academic without any financial constraint. Thank you very much for this opportunity. We don't really take it for granted, and thank you for being part of my story. I will never forget Titilayo Education Foundation, and I hope one day I'll be able to impact life. I'll be able to create opportunity for others to benefit from me because I've benefited from Titilayo Educational Foundation. Thank you very much, Titilayo Educational Foundation. God bless all the financial members of RTEF. And I would love to use this opportunity to tell others that are willing to contribute to this impactful journey. You can also contribute, you can also volunteer to help other students to improve their academics without facing any financial constraints. Thank you very much.
Imagine for a moment if our foundation didn't exist. The halls that now echo with laughter and learning would be silent. The bright futures that now seem within reach would remain distant dreams. Instead of focusing, many of these students would find it harder actualizing their dreams. Very big thanks to all our volunteers and partners. Because of your support, we are changing the narrative. Together, we are breaking barriers and creating opportunities where none existed before. Join us in our mission to empower the next generation. Together, we can make a difference, one student at a time.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Fantastic outcomes and support that we have enjoyed so far. Thank you to the RTEF scholars for graciously sharing your story. We are happy that because RTEF exists, your dream, your academic journey is still, going on well. So congratulations to all of the scholars, and we wish you the very best in your academic pursuits. I hope this video highlights the hard work that the foundation has put into the lives of our Nigerian young adults. To reach and achieve this, we need your support to even do so much more, like our CFO have said earlier. So we need your financial support. We need you to support us, partner with us. And to do that, you can kindly reach out to the foundation for more details. How you can partner with us has been displayed on the screen. You can connect with us through all our social media platforms on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to the impact story of all our scholars. Yes, we are wrapping up, but we need to address the questions that have been sent to all our speakers. Now we'll have engaging sessions where our Q&A session will come up shortly. And afterwards, we'll announce the winners of the essay competition that we had. We had an essay competition on the theme of this year's RTEF talk, which is educating for your future, not the past. So we had entries from all the participants, and we will be announcing who the essay competition winner is. So you don't want to leave right now. So we will move on to the Q&A session because of time constraints. I'll address one question each to our speakers because of time. And for other questions that we would not be able to take now, we will send them to our speakers, and you will please help us to address them. Okay, the first question goes to Mr. Aofeko, our keynote speaker. This person is asking, in a situation where there are no resources, can a student focus on building only academic excellence and wait till he has the resources to start a new skill? In a situation where there are no resources, can a student focus on building academic excellence only and wait till he has the resources to start a new skill?
Thank you very much. You know what? There will always be resources. It depends on your mindset. There's a saying that if there's a vision, there will be a provision. So never give up. So like one of the speakers said, he said he applied for scholarship almost 50 or many times, but keep on trying. Keep on trying. Like most of the example I gave, those Nigerians that were inventing a lot of things, they didn't just jump over it overnight. They failed. There was no resources for them in Nigeria until somebody picked them up and developed them abroad. So there is resources, the way God, nature himself has built man. It's about, like we say, creativity is about your mindset. Sometimes what you think, attract a lot of magnetic field to you. Let me give you an example. I wanted to change my car. I just have a vision of, okay, this is the kind of car I want to buy. Anytime I walk past the road, I will see in that car as if different at the same time, because I have been thinking, okay, I needed a vehicle. This is the type. There is no day I will pass, I will walk on, I will see that car. So because I have been thinking of it. So that is how the way our minds work. If you begin to think, that's why I say your critical thinking. Begin to think, you will see. That was why we mentioned of networking. People will, the provision will just come to you. Before you know it, we see a lead way in that area. So never stop thinking the provision will always, so far you have your vision, the provision will be there for you. Yes, you'll be surprised the way the provision will come.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. The next question is to Mrs. Okafor. How do you manage to react and cope with so many rejections? And what was your motivation and driving force until you finally got your scholarships?
Okay, thank you for the question. My motivating factor was the fact that I've always desired that I was going to study outside Nigeria. And even when I was getting the rejection, it was discouraging. I wouldn't lie, as humans. And I had good support system, first of all. Good support system, meaning peer-to-peer, who we were also trying to apply for scholarship. And in that process, some of them got the scholarship and we still talk, and they were always by my side to like encourage me that you just need 1 year. And that was also it for me. I also tried to learn on when I applied for a scholarship and I got rejection, I didn't just stop there. I tried to meet with people and like, what did I do wrong in my scholarship package? Is the essay proper? Do I have the right profile for the scholarship? And then learn from that. And sometimes it's just a game of luck. So you might have done everything right, but the application pool is just very competitive. So you're not just picked. So that was just what I did. But at the back of my mind, the motivation was internal in the fact that I desired it and I wanted it. And I said, this is it or nothing else. So I got admission to do my master's in Unilag also. And the first day of the lecture, I was like, God, this is not what I want. And I stopped attending the lecture. My mom was like, just keep attending. Maybe. I said, no, this is not what I want. I stopped the lecture and I kept applying. And that was how I get it. So sometimes you have to be stubborn for your dreams.
Fantastic. Let me just quickly take one more question because a lot of them are just, their eyes are on your scholarship. Let me just add one more question. This question, please, can you connect us or give us different sites where we can leverage postgraduate scholarship opportunities?
Yeah, I can. Maybe I would send a list of scholarship at the end to whoever is organizing it, the program, and they can disburse it to the group. There's also this website, opportunitiesforafricans.com, where you can see grants, scholarship, and fellowship for all over the world. There are also people you can follow on social media that share scholarship application, especially on Twitter. I know some people, Olumoyiwa, I know a lot of people there that share scholarship opportunities, but there are some that I know that you can apply for, some of them organized by the United Kingdom government, Chinese scholarship, and then even European Union for their masters and PhD. So I can write a list and share after the program.
Thank you very much for being so generous. We appreciate that. The next question is to Mr. Balogun. In your experience, what are some common misconceptions or challenges individuals face when transitioning from academic success to building a sustainable career? And how can they overcome these obstacles effectively?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Obstacles in transitioning. One of the greatest obstacle I see is the inability and the lack of readiness to adapt, to admit your reality. Oftentimes, as human beings, we find it difficult to quickly admit our reality. Once there is a change, there's a need for you to quickly admit that, yes, this has changed. I just give you my example. I came from an environment where a lecturer is regarded as a mini god. Now I'm in a place where I'm seen as friends, colleagues with students. So I must admit that, look, my reality has changed. embrace it. Try to study your culture, the culture of the new thing you are getting into. Find your context might be different from mine. But whatever it is, study your culture, study your new environment, know what it takes, know the ethics, know what is required of you, and work deliberately to fit yourself into it. The other thing I would also say is that nothing is permanent. There's sometimes you get this notion that you have this mentality, this entitlement mentality. You have a position, and you're so puffed up. Everything is temporary. So once you understand that everything is temporary, and I think one of the speakers said, I think it was a third speaker, talking about the dynamism of the world we live in, how mask was a crime in 1975, and come 2020, it now became an issue. So once you understand that things can change, and like it's often said, change is the constant thing. You also must be prepared to change. And you see, I go back to that, my OFAT concept, be open-minded, be flexible, be adaptable. And you see, these three things, if you are digitally minded and you know how to use technology, it will help you to easily cope with whatever challenges that may come your way. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That was definitely very helpful. Apologies to all the people who have sent in their questions. We would not be able to address them on this call, but we will definitely get our speakers to respond to the questions, and we will reach out to you for the answers. So thank you so much once again. Right now, I'll introduce Mr. Ilo, our program coordinator, to come and announce the winners of the essay competition. Welcome, Mr. Ilo. Over to you now. We are waiting.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, I'm trying to, okay, all right. I was trying to spotlight myself so you see my face. All right. We had an essay competition while we prepared for this year's talks. We had 12 people participate. And after a meticulous evaluation, we are delighted to announce the winners of the essay competition. At the 5th place, we have Stella Joy Ofyoung. And the 4th place is Oladimeji Sanda. Please applaud them, please. Applaud them. If we're not physical, let's use the virtual applause for them, please. For the 3rd place, we have we have 2 people at the 3rd place. We have Zainab Oladipo and Adeshina Ahmad. Our top winners are also a duet. There are 2 of them who are top winners because they had the same scores. They are Ifyok Udofia and Chia Hana Mwobodo. In recognition of their accomplishments, the panel has decided to showcase the top winners' essays in the upcoming published edition of the RTEF Annual Impact Report. So their essays will be on our annual impact report. Do well to pick it up, would do well to mail you, the participants here, so you could read and see what we are doing. So congratulations to everyone who has participated in this year's essay competition. Also, a total of 75,000 Naira would be awarded to honor their participation. So well done. That's to encourage you and to thank you for really being part of it. All right. As we come to the close of this year's RTEF Talks, I want to say a very big thank you to our profound speakers who have not only done justice to their topics, but generously instructed from their wealth of experience. Thank you, Mr. Wofeko, Mrs. Okafor, Mr. Mba, Mr. Balogun. We are indeed so privileged to have had you join us in this year's RTEF Talks. And to our attendees, your participation is a testament that you all are keen about being impactful. This event reminds me of a story I once read about a mentee and a mentor. So a conversation ensued between them that got the mentee talking about the beautiful things he wants to be known for, how he intends to go back to his village to alleviate his people from poverty, and many things he wants to do to make the world a better place. After about 10 minutes of active listening by the mentor to his mentee, he applauded him and encouraged him to keep everything in mind, but focus on filling his bucket because you cannot pour out from an empty bucket. You necessarily need to have something in your bucket. And looking at, what we've had to do as RTF, you'd agree with me that in your journey to relevance or in your attempts to be relevant, there are 5 distinct buckets I know you should fill. One would be the bucket of what you know, the bucket of what you can do, the bucket of who you know, what you have, and what the world thinks about you. In case you don't know, the world thinks you're the future, and we all await your manifestation. I am most convinced that this symposium has, to a great extent, poured into each of these buckets I've mentioned earlier, and you have increased in knowledge. Your mind is open to the to possibilities you can harness. You can now leverage on this network. I heard Mr. Mbas saying that he's waiting to connect with you. Mr. Okafo is willing to share resources with you. Mr. Ankoli is here to pull your hands, help you. So you now have a new network that you can leverage on to harness the possibilities that lies within your beck and call. You are now aware of the fact that the world thinks that you're the future. Now, your competition in the 21st century is no longer with those in your class, your classmates. It's no longer with those in Nigeria. Your competition is now with those beyond the shores of your country. It's now with people in Japan, in Canada, and that calls you to buckle up and get things running. Funny enough, while we selected our speakers, we never paid attention to the fact that they were all not in Nigeria until a few weeks ago. They've all gone global, transcending the barriers of time and space to speak to us today. I know you want to go global too, but please start local. Harness the potentials within your current space while you have a global perspective. It is called being glocal. I had my pastor talk about it, glocal one day, and I was like, glocal makes sense. So you're local, but you have a global perspective. We didn't just get to know Mr. Akunle today or Mr. Wofeko or Mr. Mba or Mr. Kafo. No, we knew them while they were still local, and today they are on the global scale, affecting, making impacts, doing things. Finally, don't allow everything end here. It is easy for you to end here. You're excited, you're pumped up. Don't let it end here. Go on to share what you've learned today with your friends. Let them know about RTF talks. Let the flame burn till everyone is consumed by the reality of the new you. So the committee, I say a very big thank you to you. The sleepless nights, the countless meetings are eventually played out well. Kudos to Mrs. Philippa Taiwo, Mrs. Abimbola Balogun for pulling this through. The media team, you guys are fabulous. Mr. John, Miss Mary, to the entire leadership of the Titilayo Educational Foundation, I say a very big thank you. If you're not yet part of our community, kindly follow us on all our social media platforms. It was shared earlier for updates on our activities. We've got several programs lined up for the year. Immediately following this program would be the program you're seeing on the screen. It's our first Scholars Hangout for the year, and I bet you don't want to miss it for anything. It's Life After School, 10 things you must know, 10 cogent things you must know. You shouldn't miss it. Book your calendar now. Follow us as we announce the dates for that to come up. Once again, thank you so much for attending RTF Talks 2024. Till we see you again, I'm Ebuka Ilo, the Programs Director at Titilayo Educational Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ilo. Those were inspiring words from you. Thank you so much, and congratulations again to the winners of the essay competition. What an event. Oh my goodness. So if you could describe this event in one word, please engage in the chat section and let us know how you feel spending the last few hours with us, learning and accumulating so much knowledge that will transform your future as you put them into use. Please go ahead to describe how this event has been for you. I have personally learned a lot, and I hope you have as well, and you will make good use of the information that we have shared today. On behalf of the RTM team, the speakers, and your host for today, we want to say a big thank you once again for joining us. And I wish you all the very best in your endeavors. Thank you once again, and bye for now.
Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí sógúndógójì nílé ayé. Ajá ń sáré owó jóná, bàbá Ìjẹ̀bú ògbẹ́yìn. Lagos boys wọ́n bínú pọ́n wọ́n fẹ́ wá Bugatti. Ẹ̀kọ́ ò bá mọ́ ìmọ̀. Àwọn olóṣogbo orí tẹ́wọ́n. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kọjá àjá àbálẹ̀ o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fokùn fa dọ́là wálẹ̀ o. Kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mu nóbi kẹ̀kẹ́ márúwá. Ìgbóràn gẹ̀dẹ̀ ló di Banana Island o.
Beats from the city.
Tàtà bọ̀mọ léde pé sáwò lọ́mọ ṣe. Orin wà láìkàlà ìmọ̀ fẹ́ já jẹ́. Òun fẹ́ra bẹ́ǹsì dúdú pẹ̀lú bẹ́ǹsì funfun. Orin wà láìkàlà ìmọ̀ fẹ́ já jẹ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi jọ ló lówe òwe ni. Fíríkìkì tó wọlé Ronaldo mi ló gbà. Tóyá bèbí ló kọ́ wọlé wá. Jẹ̀ni ìbàgbọ́ tún wá kẹ́ni wá. Àwọn akíyàgbọ́n ní ìbábo ní Razaki. Àwọn làǹdó mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ dé kó oṣù sókè. Ẹ ṣeun, kọ̀mọ́jú tà fẹ́ wá ṣé ti bí ló fẹ́. Jẹ́ka lọ sí Gúúsà ẹ̀tì ká lọ gọ́fẹ́. Kí wá gírísì ọ́ìlì rẹ̀ òkú bá dalẹ̀. Owó ìrèlè táwọn bá mi dánwò afẹ́fẹ́. Ṣíwúdọ̀tì lórúkọ mi. Òyìnbó ló sọ̀rọ̀. Kí ló wí? Ó fi mentabology of the vocabulary. Ó fi gbé ẹgbẹ́ kí ló ti wí. Máàmọ̀ sọ́sù, máàmọ̀ sáṣẹ́, máàmọ̀ kọ́lẹ́dì mọ́ níbi bọ́ọ̀lù bọ́ọ̀lù. Ẹnu kan fèrè sínú club lálẹ́. Wọ́n ṣeun Ayọ̀débọ̀. Tàtà bọ̀mọ léde pé sáwò lọ́mọ ṣe. Orin wà láìtàlá ìlú fẹ́ já jẹ́. Òun fẹ́ra bẹ́ǹsì dúdú pẹ̀lú bẹ́ǹsì funfun. Orin wà láìtàlá ìlú fẹ́ já jẹ́.
Good.
Àpẹ gan, àwọn aláfún sọ́tàyọ̀ ní jíwà gan. Ìgbéraga ló ń ṣe wọ́n, bébí máa ò bẹ̀rẹ̀ àjọ òkà lójú wọn. Ayọ̀ mi lẹ́sẹ̀lẹ́sẹ̀, mo fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn jankan. Èyí tó máa ń fún mi lówó, àtẹ̀yí tí ń jẹ mí lówó. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, àwọn ń dè ọ́sù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àwọn ń dè dábù màásù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àwọn ń dè ọ́sù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àwọn ń dè dábù màásù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ̀sàkúndé ń dè nílàró, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ bá mi ṣẹ̀fàrẹ̀ mọ́ onírú, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Kábíyèsí Elégùṣì, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Kẹ́mi Tákùwà Ṣínà Bẹ́là, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ bá mi kọ́ ní ọ̀fífẹ́, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ̀mí símúsínú mi ọ̀, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Áńdàsì ẹsẹ̀ wọn ọjà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ bá mi kí Sàkí Olúwo, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ̀sùn mi yagun bí adé, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Èmi bẹ̀sẹ̀ mo kí ẹ jàre, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àbí kẹ́dà bí rí nǹkan, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọ̀gá ńlá Pasuma wọ́n ń jà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ṣé wọ́n di ọtí mi? Mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ṣé Àlàó Mọ̀láríkà? Mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àwọn èèyàn Bílíkì òní, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Bílíkì wọ́pọ̀ Abímbọ́lá, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Abímbọ́lá màmá Dámì, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Òbágídí ọkọ̀ òyìnbó, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ẹ̀dùbáì ní Kòtónù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Kìkì Lámúkáìlà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Abìnrin pé mo pè é lórúkọ, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Sàkútì ọmọdé olówó, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Fẹ́ràn mi bọ́ǹsì bóni, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọmọ Lísà ní Ṣàgámù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Kàṣí Kọ́sànù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọmọ ọba ní Ràṣímù, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọba ní Olímà, ọkọ̀ Rúkàyà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ìwádìí ọmọ ọlọ́tọ̀, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọba sí ìsìnbàdí òòṣà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Náà olùsẹ́fẹ̀dì, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Dédé sí Arúnà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Ọ̀túnba Káàṣì mọ́ni, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Bámi kiri àbúrò Ébẹ̀lì, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Àwọn èèyàn Mísíkà Tálíbà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ. Miss Bọ́sù Wálé Bánsà, mo fẹ́ ṣàṣẹ.
So the support. Why are those still here?